Good morning, everybody. My name is Emily Landon. I am the tech recruiter, and it's good to meet you guys. For those that are new and for all my old friends, it's great to see you again. Hired and Wired is a space where we do two things. Today, we're going to do the first thing. I am here to set you up for success, right? I can't have private conversations all the time. So I take this time to help you guys understand a couple of things: how to find jobs, how to apply and increase your chances of being selected, interviewing tips, networking tips. But on top of that, something that I do is audit LinkedIn profiles. So if you would like help with your LinkedIn profile, you think something is missing or there, it could use a little zhuzh, feel free to leave a comment below. I'm curious to know where everybody is from. Let me know. I'd love to know where you're from and what brought you here today. So one of the things that we can start with is like resume guidance and LinkedIn profile. Actually, you know what? Let's take a step back. Let's talk about the ATS when you apply to jobs. So everybody likes to talk about, oh, the ATS, it knocks my resume out before I get even to have a conversation. Oh, the ATS, nobody looks at it. It just automatically filters. And you are not wrong. The ATS is a database in which when you apply, your resume goes into the applicant tracking system to keep everything organized. Now, here's the problem with ATSs. They're looking at your resume through an algorithm. They're looking at your resume and specifically looking for keywords. So unfortunately, if you're missing one of those words from your profile, from your resume, it does get knocked out of consideration. So the question that becomes, how do we hack this? How do we make sure that our resume gets selected? Asia, hello. It's good to hear from you. Interesting to hear that you moved to Indiana. I think I remember when you made that transition. David, Wisconsin. This is not like anything to brag about, but I was just at the Dells. We went to the deer park because deer are my favorite animal. I mean, literally, it's like deer are my favorite animal. So we got to pet a bunch of deer and it was a lot of fun. We just went for the day. And oh my God, it's crazy how Mount Olympus is just taking over. Aside from that, thank you for joining, Asia, and thank you for joining, David. Guys, let me know who else is here and where you are from. I'd love to chat. I'm also kind of playing around with the times, right? Usually we did this at 10:30 Central. Now we're doing it at 12:30 Central, so it's not too early for our Pacific friends. Commenter on YouTube. Hello, good to see you. So Florida, I went to school in Florida, in DeLand. A big fan of Florida, not so much the hurricanes though. I will leave that there. In Chicago, we don't have tornadoes, definitely don't have hurricanes, and that makes me very happy. So kind of going back to the ATS, when you apply to a company's website, it does go into that ATS. And what's critical is to make sure you're hitting the same keywords. Now, there's a really easy way to hack this, and that is a cover letter. Doesn't have to be customized. Have it be the second or third page of your resume. And just kind of attach it right in there. You don't need to attach it separately. Just have it automatically be the last part of your resume. This is where you can go through the job description and add in those keywords. So your resume doesn't have to change, right? Because that's so much work. I think we all hate it. But it can still get those keywords in through that cover letter that, you can use AI for, tweak it so it sounds like a human, but that way the keywords that you may be missing on your resume are on the cover letter, which is the last page. So those are some of my hacks for the applicant tracking systems. Shiv from India, welcome. It's interesting. I'm obsessed with like the air quality map on iPhone. I don't know why, but I love going on the air quality map and then I'll take a picture and then I'll shoot it to ChatGPT and I'll be like, what is going on in this area? So I've done a lot of exploring in India on that air quality map. So random facts of the day. Let's talk about knockout questions on LinkedIn. Oh, perfect. David, you volunteer for a LinkedIn profile audit. You know what, guys? Why don't we get right to that? David, the only thing I need is, and I should add this to the banner, I need permission to share your resume with our family here. Because it will be on screen. It is recorded, so it stays on LinkedIn. So I want to make sure there's nothing confidential that you don't want everyone to see. Ian, Canada. Hi, Asia. Good to see you. It's been like 7 years since I've seen you in person. All right, David, I am just waiting on that permission, my friend. I also have to open this up in a separate tag on LinkedIn. Hold on. LinkedIn. Let me mute the tab. Where is everybody else from? All right, here we go. Tab is muted. Oh, it's nice to know you're doing well too, Asia. Things are fabulous over here. David, I have your profile pulled up. Just need that permission and we will get started. The goal here, guys, is to set you up for success, right? If I can do it, fabulous. If someone else can do it, fabulous. The goal is to get you a job. And if I can help with a couple LinkedIn profile tweaks, it's the least I can do. Perfect. David, permission. Jackie, it's so nice to see you. I hope you are doing well too. Everything is fabulous over here. I have no complaints. Internet. Don't we love that? I love the internet. I love when it goes out. Thank you so much, Xfinity. Really making my life easy. All right. Hi, Eduardo. Let me show the screen. Show screen. Window opera tab. Okay. Sure. Be kind. Are you sure you want me to be kind or do you want me to be useful? Let's see here. All right, Mr. David, thank you for joining Hired and Wired. So there's a couple things I'm already noticing about your LinkedIn profile. I don't love that. That's okay. We'll zoom out a little bit. So David, the first thing that I see on your LinkedIn profile is we don't have a banner photo, right? It's blank. It's LinkedIn standard. Let's update that. So think of like this. As a recruiter, I have X amount of LinkedIn connection requests that I'm able to send. So these high volume recruiters, from Robert Half and blah, 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 they're being very thoughtful about who they reach out to because there's a limit set by LinkedIn. So as a recruiter, if I'm looking at David, you, and I'm looking at another profile that's very similar because everybody has a twin, right? With similar experience, similar job titles. If I'm looking at your twin and your twin's profile is more complete and maybe they're posting on LinkedIn, I'm likely to send that person a connection request versus you because I know my connection request will more likely be accepted as where yours just might not, I might make the assumption that you're not active on LinkedIn. Useful is kind. Understood. So let's add a banner photo and this is super easy. Just Google it. If you want to be in the tech space, Google the word tech. Pick a photo, bada bing, bada boom, we are done. All right, let's talk about the tagline, Information Technology Business Analyst. Here's what I like about this. It's clear, it's direct, it's to the point. However, when you send someone a connection request, all they see is your first name, your last name, your picture, and your tagline. So this, though it gives me who you are, there's not a lot of, how do I put this, like personality. Right? People are getting so many connection requests a day. And here's the thing. Here's what I hate. So LinkedIn used to be kind of like a dating app. You used to be able to swipe left or right on connections. I want to say this was like, I don't know, 8 years ago. They've taken that away. And you have to either look at the connection list and decide who you want to connect with based off their profile or click on each profile to then decide if you want to be connected with them. So I would encourage you, let's add a little bit more flair to this. So that way it's distinctive, right? They're curious. You don't want them, because people are less likely to go through and click open every profile these days. There's just too many people trying to network. So I would encourage you, give them a show-stopping tagline so they automatically connect without even looking at your profile. We've got a couple mutual connections. I love that. All right. Now we got to have the difficult chat. The open to work banner. There's a couple feelings of the open to work banner. So if we were talking 9 years ago, open to work, very beneficial, right? Immediately alerted people, hey, you're looking for a new job, I'm available, connect with me. It was great for recruiters. Still great for recruiters that don't invest in the LinkedIn products. That's like ungodly expensive, but that's none of my business. So the open to work banner is kind of taken on a different meaning. Yes, very clear. Open to work, it gives people a signal, but it's the underlying meaning that I'm concerned about. So when you advertise that you're open to work, you're letting the entire world know that you're looking for a new job. And the question, we get into the subconscious here, the question becomes, well, why is David looking for a new job, right? And the brain automatically leans towards the negative. So they will make negative assumptions, right? Well, maybe he got fired. That's like the main assumption that people are going to make. But we want people to think, oh, maybe David got laid off. Oh, maybe he's just seeing what's out there. But often or not, the open to work banner sends a negative impression. So I would take that off, but leave it as open to work on the back end of LinkedIn. That will still notify hiring managers and recruiters that you're exploring new opportunities. Asia, what's a show-stopping tagline example? Let me think. For David. Information technology business analyst. Yeah, it could be. So the specific, sorry, you're going to get cat view. The specific example that would come to mind is information technology business analyst with X years of experience in sector, right? And then you could put things like, depending on how really you want to personalize this, you could put in something like dog dad, right? The thing about LinkedIn is it used to be very professional. It used to almost be like a resume. These days, because of AI, you want to come off as human, as most like as human as possible, right? So polished, kind of out the window, personal, that's what people are looking for. So something that stands out about you, right? The other thing is when you're networking. So everybody uses a LinkedIn profile to get an idea for how to start a conversation. So if you were to have dog dad on here, someone else that's a dog lover could network with you by jumping into that topic. So I just think a little personal sprinkle in here might be helpful. Asia, we can go over a tagline for you as well. All right, beautiful. So makes sense, right? But this is very polished. I would encourage you to zhuzh it up a little bit, right? Bring out the human in you. Experience, ID. Okay, the other thing I would mention is this is a lot of chunk of text. Recruiters and hiring managers are less likely to read this. They will definitely read the first line. But the rest of it, I can't guarantee. So when it comes to your experience, I would actually bullet point this out, and I would also add years of experience. So I'm not going to open this document because I'm worried that it might have your contact information on it, your name, your phone number, your email, maybe your address. Just a quick reminder, your address should not and does not need to be on your resume. It's a safety concern, right? It doesn't matter where you live. Add your zip code. That gives people a good understanding. But full address on a resume, can't do it. All right, activity. So you've commented on a post 1 month ago, 3 months ago, 5 months ago. Here's what's changed about LinkedIn. LinkedIn oh my God, here's my work phone. Okay, great. Sorry. ADHD. LinkedIn is prioritizing comments versus posts, which is like very difficult because then you got to read a lot of posts, but it seems like that seems to be your go-to. Oh, these are minutes. I'm a dum-dum. Let's click on this. All right, posts. Let's see if you've got any. Yeah, so 7 years ago. So let's update this. Let's make some posts, but more importantly, let's get some comments. Scrolling down. Love that you're commenting with me. Thank you so much. Is this like glitching? All right, 1 month. Okay, now I see the difference. 1 month. So I definitely want you to be commenting on posts, right? The goal of LinkedIn is not to be popular. It's not to go viral. It is to keep yourself top of mind. So you want people to see your name, see your tagline. And this is a part of marketing, right? When you see something more times, you become more familiar with it, which means you're more likely to like it, which means you're more likely to buy the product or the service, right? Same thing goes for LinkedIn and you specifically. You want to leave very interesting comments so that way people click on their profile and they're like, oh, this David guy, he's great. Easier said than done. Is it something that I'm great at doing? No, but do as I say, not as I do. All right, moving on. Senior Information Technology Business Analyst, 6 years, 10 months. That is great longevity. That shows that you're loyal. That shows that you're great at what you do, because otherwise you wouldn't have been there for such a long period of time. Couple of things you don't need here. You don't need the full-time, because this is just more information that's cluttering the page up. You don't need full-time. You don't need location. You don't need on-site. Feel free to not have those on your profile. It doesn't really make a difference. It's just extra words on a page. What's interesting to note, and just everybody pay attention to this really quickly, in order to see his full experience, you have to press more, right? So the first sentence of your experience is the most important because everybody's not clicking more. Okay, I'm glad I clicked more. We need this to be a lot different. And I'm being nice about it. We want this to read exactly like your resume. I have hiring managers that open LinkedIn that won't even look at people's resumes. But I also have clients that will look at the LinkedIn and look at the resume to make sure everything lines up. So everything on your resume, copy and paste that bad boy right onto LinkedIn. What I do like is you tagged your, okay, let me take a step back. Sorry, I'm very excited. So you want your responsibilities, your core responsibilities, and then you also want your achievements. So you can structure it like this: achievements, bullet, 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 and then underneath that, core responsibilities, bullet, bullet, bullet. Now, the trick to a resume, the trick to anything really, is you want them to see what you want them to see. What do I mean by that? The first sentence that they see is what's highlighted right now. If you were to do achievements and a sentence, they're going to be like, oh, interesting. Here's what he's achieved, but I wonder what that day-to-day looks like. Again, don't be afraid to put information in here, guys. You have to press more to see all of it. Moving on. David, you've got tags, your skill tags. I love this. So this is a current LinkedIn hack. It's relatively new, but it's working. They haven't figured it out yet, so hopefully they never do. How people come up on the back end of LinkedIn is I type in keywords. Whoever has those keywords on their profile, they come up in a list. Those at the top of the list have the most amount of the keyword that I've searched for. So the hack here is, and skills is becoming more important than keyword searches. That's really where it's pulling most of the keywords from. So you have, the skills at the bottom of your profile, right? Where is it? Skills, 54, right? So you've got that keyword here. So agile project management, 1. And then when you tag it to each experience, you're now adding a second keyword. So this is a really unique way to hack the system. Not only should you put skills, but you can put industries, information technology, that IT, right? So that way, when someone's looking for those keywords, you're going to come up in that list. Let's actually scroll to the top. I believe there is a way, I actually don't know. You should be able to pick your category, but I'll look into that and come back later. All right. So we've got the role here, 6 years, 10 months. My question to you is, have you always been a senior business analyst, or did you grow within your role at the company? If you did, you want to show the progression into the role by adding a new job title. So keep the same company, but hello, I'm a little busy right now. Can we talk later? Thank you. I'm going to mush you over. Okay. That's Mark. Oh my God, you interrupted me. I don't even know. Okay. Information technology. Ugh. Okay. We were somewhere with that. I apologize. If anybody can remind me where we were, that would be very helpful. Let's go. Oh, growth in a resume. There we go. So you can add extra positions. I'm going to show you really quickly what that looks like on mine. Scroll. All right, right here. So you can see that at this company, I started as a sourcer. I went to a recruiter, and then I was a Fortune 500 recruiter, right? But you see these little dots. This shows the progression in the role. So if you did move up in those positions or any of these, because you've got great longevity in the roles, sorry, Mark, baby, I know, we're so excited. Can you lay in your bed? Can you lay right there? That'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, so show the progression. President and Chief Value Officer, beautiful. Oh, last thing I forgot to mention. I'm so sorry. Have a sentence about what the company does. This not only adds those keywords, but it educates the reader, right? So as a recruiter, I'm moving very fast. So if you were to have a sentence about what Charter Next Generation did, which I don't believe, oh, right here. Nope, we don't. I would have to click on the logo, right? Fun. And then this doesn't tell me anything. And then I scroll down and here is the information, right? Then I have to read all this. If you were to just put a sentence about what the company does so I can see the immediate transferable skills or that you're in the same industry for the client that I'm working on, 10 out of 10. All right, self-employed, 5 years, 3 months, management consulting. Oh, these are great. I would also just as much detail as you can, as much detail as you possibly can. Technologies, tools, stuff like that. Mark, please stop touching that. Okay, we're going to keep going. Senior business analyst, project manager, children's hospital and health systems. This is what I'm looking for. This right here, right? So these are the responsibilities. These are what's building out the keywords. Now, don't forget, recruiters, hiring managers can be looking for different words. We want to get both of that in there. So oversight of QA, parentheses, quality assurance. But again, this is giving me very basic understanding. Dive in, make it very clear about what you bring to the table, what you've done before. Here we go. Point of sale connection group. Love that. What technology did you use? Merger systems, SAP. Love that. Wonderful. Okay, so let's go here. You want to go back on your resume 10 years. Could you put in more than 10 years? Absolutely, but that does date you. So just some feedback, just a heads up. So now I'm noticing here you've got the location, but you don't have the contract. If it is a contract role, I would add in contract. You've got some really good experience here, really good experience. But again, it's a lot to take in. So don't forget, add those highlights, those achievements where you got a gold star, because that's really what they're going to pay attention. Something that's a little controversial to say, and I'm going to say it, David, I know you told me to be nice. I'm being nice. Companies don't hire people to sit in a circle and sing Kumbaya. People have heard me say this before. They hire people that are going to push forward revenue, right? Think about it. Sales, revenue, marketing, revenue, business analytics, right? Definitely revenue. So it's all about bringing value to the company and helping it push forward. So that's something you really want to highlight in your profile and on your resume. Here's how I make an impact. Education. We're going to take our dates of education off our profile. This is going to tell people how old you are. They could make a decision that you're too qualified for the role based off your age. They could make a decision that you're too young for the salary they're offering based off your dates of education. So let's pop those bad boys off. Skills, you can have up to 100. Let's take advantage of that. I love recommendations. Recommendations are some of my favorite things. 2 reasons. 1, says you did a great job, right? Someone's willing to put their name on your LinkedIn profile. Perfect. You're obviously doing a great job. 2nd, it validates that you're a real profile. I'm sure we've all struggled with the fake recruiters. So frustrating. And I know that that's really hard for a lot of you. It's even hard for me. I get them all the time too. And I'm like, why? They're just hunting for information. So there also are fake candidate profiles. Rampant, just running rampant right now. So I think recommendations verify that you're a real profile. Now, if I was a good recruiter, which I am, I would click on Larry. I would make sure he's a real profile, right? 375 connections. He's posted, works for me. All right. David, was that helpful? Was that kind enough? I tried really hard. I'm usually a very direct person because we have a little bit of amount of time and I want to get the most value. Some people don't like my style, which is fine, I'm here to help. I'll set you up for success, whether you like it or not. All right. So Asia, I'd love a tagline. Let's talk about it. Can I bring your profile up on stage? If you choose no industry, do we show in less searches? Very good question. So you don't show in less searches. You still come up in those searches, but lower on the list. So I would always encourage you. I'm like 95% sure that's an option. Hold on. Or was that like a LinkedIn influencer thing from a long time ago? Yeah, maybe it's not a thing anymore. Good. David, I'm glad that helped. Thank you so much for joining. Asia, let me know if I have permission. Everybody else, let me know where you're from. We've got a good chunk of people in the room across YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thank you all for being here. I am just, you know what else can we go over while we're waiting on Asia? I put some notes together. All right. I closed my notes. Hold on one second. Technologia. All right. I would love to know what are some challenges you guys are running into the job search, right? Whether it's responses, finding the jobs themselves, where can I bring the most value to you? I've been doing this for 10 years. I've gotten, oh, there we go. Okay, I forgot about you. I'm so sorry. Thank you for commenting that you wanted a review. Someone told me badass BA. I like the start. I like where we're going with that. I was always taught that you never want to curse in the workplace. You can be casual, you can be personable, but you don't want to curse. It's actually something I ask candidates when I talk to a hiring manager and they drop something like an F-bomb, casually, never out of anger. I'll talk to my candidates. I'll be like, how do you feel about casual cursing in the workplace? Like something frustrates you and you're like, nah. And some people are okay with it, that casual environment, and some are not. Like, not. So I would say withhold rather than going gung-ho on that. Let me pull up this comment. Chantal. Let's pull you up, Queen. All right, Chantal. One thing I will tell you is your comment on my stream says LinkedIn user. I would encourage you to check your LinkedIn settings. Make sure it's all set to public so that way your name pops up when you comment on things. I am going to share my screen. You'd think I'd be better about this and faster at this point, but no. Share. Bada bing, bada boom. Hello, Chantal. Let's see. Okay, perfect. So a couple things I'm noticing. One, what a lovely photo. Absolutely lovely photo. It looks very nice. It's warm. It's welcoming. You look like a happy person, right? If you have a photo where you look grumpy, people are less likely to respond to that. So you always want something that's cheerful and gives a little bit of your personality. Chantal, this is a great expectation to set. Banner photo. As a woman, I love it, right? It's fresh, it's bright. My favorite color is yellow, if anybody hasn't noticed. I like this photo. However, it may not appeal to everybody. So rather than having a beautiful yellow flower, it kills me to say this because I really do love the picture, have something that relates to the industry you're in. Customer success virtual assets line. This doesn't look complete. So we could do customer success with, how many years of experience do we have? Let me scroll down. Do a lot. Okay. So we could say customer success with 5+ years of experience in virtual assets, right? You can also use this section just to put in specific keywords, right? So my background personally is crypto. So for me, I would just have crypto line, blockchain line, AI line. So don't be afraid to put your industry in there. Freelance. So here's a pro tip. Let me actually see if I can show you this. Oh, what's the name of it? So there is a company on LinkedIn called Stealth Mode. If you go to stealth mode, you'll see it's got 1,000 to 500 employees, and 15 of my connections are actually working here. The overview is currently working on something very new and exciting. So is it kind of a cop out? Yes. Is it one that works? Absolutely. So I would, instead of tagging freelance, I would tag stealth mode. And if you're able to list your clients, I would list them underneath this. So you've got great experience listed here. Love it. You've got metrics and numbers. If you could talk about any sort of like financial touch points, that would be great. Hosted events. Maybe you talk about where those events are so people know where your network sits. Hello, Mark. Goodbye, Mark. So created 50 visually appealing graphics using graphic design tools. Name the tools, right? Someone might be specifically looking for someone that has experience with Figma. That's critical, because if you don't list that experience, that kind of insinuates that that's a tool you need to learn. And hiring managers, they're not giving people opportunities to pick up new skills. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Don't kill the messenger. So if you have that experience, it adds a keyword and it also educates the reader. What's cool on LinkedIn is, I'm going to go to my profile really quickly. You can, have I done it? Yes. So you can add media, and it literally says at the bottom, scroll all the way when you're adding an experience, media, and you could add pictures for those graphic designs that you've created. I would add a couple of them to your LinkedIn profile. Supporting actor, no real information here. Here's kind of how I feel about this. As a supporting, you want your LinkedIn to like guide the reader into the direction you want to go. So as a supporting actor, whoops, that doesn't really tell me how you got into customer success. So I would say if you want to continue to be an actor, leave it, love it, great. If you don't, it's not super relevant to customer success. So I would just pop it off. Certifications, you got 14, beautiful, love that. Projects, this is something that David didn't have on his profile, and that's totally okay. But this is where you can show, and here's that media, great job. This is where you can showcase things that you've done. Volunteering, I love it. You've got the certificate. This is really great. One of the things we might want to talk about, and this is always kind of awkward, when you have anything regarding religion on your profile, you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision of, does it matter if the company cares about my posting or my highlighting my religious views, right? Because there are companies that are going to be like, whatever, do you, I don't care. There also will be companies that are like, we don't want like our other employees or our clients to really see the religion or religion being promoted throughout our business. So if it were me, I would take religious affiliations off. But if it's something you're really passionate about, it's important to work for a company that's equally as passionate, leave it on. Skills. Beautiful. Love it. Awesome. Interest. Okay. So now you've got your education tagged. My camera just died. What is life? Oh my God, it overheated. I didn't turn the thing on. Ugh. All right, let me turn it off. I'll be back. Okay, we're killing it over here. Publications, fabulous. Interest, fabulous. The one thing you're missing is those recommendations. So let's get a couple. And unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of mixed emotions regarding employees out of Africa. So I would definitely get a couple recommendations just to mitigate any negative assumptions. So Chantal, overall, I think it's a great profile. We've got a couple things we need to work on. I thought my flower photo expressed my individuality. I agree. I just think we want to make sure that anything we highlight appeals to everybody, right? So yeah, that's what I would say. All right. Any other questions from anybody as of right now? We're a little bit over time, which is okay. Asia, are you still with us? Do we want to talk about your tagline? I'll just sit here in silence without me on video, which is always my favorite thing to do. That's actually never happened before. I always turn the cooling thing on my camera, but I was in a rush today. I wanted to get you guys on time. I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, look at that. I'm just a little bubble. Wow. All right. I'm just looking at my notifications really quickly. All right, guys. If we are all set, I'm going to hop off. I've got a meeting right after this that I'm 5 minutes late to. But sorry, I just find it so funny that I'm a talking bubble. Wonderful to see you all here. Thank you for telling me where you're from. We'll have another event next Wednesday at 12:30 CT. I kind of enjoyed this time. So thank you all for coming. Let me know how else I can help. If you need to have a meeting, you've got some questions, you didn't feel comfortable joining, raising your hand, I do have a link, book an appointment at the top of my profile. It's a group meeting with you and your peers up to 10. It's free. You're more than welcome to come. I'm happy to help. Otherwise, I do offer paid one-on-one sessions. And yeah, happy to help, guys. Thanks for coming. Sorry about the camera. I'll talk to you all soon.